to another session of our Raya Ramananda Samvada reading. Today is Purnima, the 13th, Monday, 13th January 2025. So we'll have a kirtan and then we'll begin our reading. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Giridharadhari Jaya Giridharadhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Giridharadhari Jaya Giridharadhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Oh Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari 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 Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Haribol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Radhe, 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 Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaura Hare Bol, Nitai Gaura Hare Bol. Nitai Gaura Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Gaura Hare Bol. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garangan Havaka Girit Hari Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Rishabal Nandini Bhajeshwari Radharani Ki Jai. Nityananda Rai Ki Jai. Satchinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Astok Tarastar Shishimad. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Astok Tarastar Shishimad. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Astok Tarastar Shishimad. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Asto Tarasara Shishimad. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Mahabhagavat Srila Gaurikishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gauri Acharya Ki Jai. Jai Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamanand Prabhu Tre Ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shibata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal, Bharata Saragana Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai. Jai Swarup Damodar Raya Ramananda Gauda Parsada Ki Jai. Namacharya Shilharadas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sika Holsi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gauda Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Sachinandan Gaur Hari Ki Jai. Nityananda Rai Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Agina Timrandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gauda Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadavaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamayam Dadati Swapatantikam Priya Surupe, Taita Surupe, Prema Surupe, Sahaja Virupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhu Eka Rupe, Tatana Rupe, Swavila Surupe, Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurana Vartino Kalo, Samarapaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam, Hari Purata Sundarata Tikatamba Sadipita, Sadahridare Kandare Spuratu Vasachinandanaha. Yam Bravajantamana Petyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Maya Tayo Taravo Vinidustam Sarvabhutam Hritim Munimanatoshmi Bhaktya Vihina Aparara Lakshay Shiptascha Karmadi Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Prinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Varadram Tatoma Manasti Katina Kapi Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Sadashishma Shilaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering my Dandavat pranams to our most beloved Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Sadashishimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And I'm offering my Dandavat pranams to our dearmost Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Pad, and to all the Rupanuga Guru Varga, and to all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, on Saturday, we discussed Sakyaras, and previously it was Dasyaras. So now we've come to page 83 in our book, and we're going to discuss Vatsalya Prem. And now it's coming to a whole nother level. Actually, each stage appears to come to a whole nother level as Raya Ramananda reveals more and more of the reality of the ultimate truth and how it's divided into so many stages and gradations. The individual worshippers, the sadhaks, they are divided into gradations. The process itself is divided into gradations. It's not all one. This impersonal conception gets purified just by considering this variety in the devotee's desires to serve and please Krishna. This immense variety, as many conditioned souls as there are existing, that many amounts of rasa there are. Every single jiva has a different rasa. No one has the same. So there's these nuances in between. And this is what my Gurudev is very beautifully bringing out. So we'll start from page 83, Vatsalya Prem, the love of a parent for Krishna.
876. प्रभु कहे ये हो उत्तम आगे कहो आर राय कहे वात्सल्य प्रेम सर्व साध्य सार.
Sriman Mahaprabhu said, O Ramananda, that is the topmost, but please speak something beyond this. Sri Ramananda Rai then said that Vatsalya Prem, parental love for Sri Krishna, is indeed the essence of all perfection. In his commentary on this statement, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Sakya-ras is superior to Dasya-ras, but one can find a goal that is superior even to this. Sri Ramananda Rai replied, Vatsalya Prem is the essence of all perfection. Srila Saraswati Prabhupada expressed this inner intention thus. Sriman Mahaprabhu heard Sri Ramananda Rai's conclusion that the ultimate goal is Sakya-ras. Thereupon Sriman Mahaprabhu said that Sakya Prem is superior to Dasya Prem. When Sriman Mahaprabhu requested that he expand further upon the subject, he described Vatsalya Prem, love in the mood of parental affection. Up until this point, Sriman Mahaprabhu has said, Eho hai, this is good. But now to this he replies, Eho uttam, this is the topmost. Prior to Sakya-ras being mentioned, whatever scriptural evidence that had been presented had mainly referred to the practitioner who comes in the category of an ordinary living entity. But here, the discussion embarks on the subject of the Nitya Siddha Parakas, or the eternally perfected associates of the Lord. So this Vatsalya Prem is definitely in the hands of the eternal associates, the Nitya Siddha Parikas, or the devotees of Shanta and Dasya are controlled by Bhagavan. But from the stage of Sakya-ras onwards, Bhagavan is controlled by his devotee. So we heard on Saturday, how the Sakas, they sometimes climb on Krishna's shoulders. Sometimes they say, what sort of big man are you? I can do just the same. When Kamsa was defeated in the arena in Mathura, all the cowherd boys, they came on the stage afterwards and they were all dancing with Krishna. But they were all thinking, we could have killed Kamsa just as easily as Krishna could. Krishna's not any better than we are. So having this mood of zero Aishwarya for Krishna is a very exalted stage. Therefore, they could connect with Krishna in such a heartly manner without the slightest Aishwarya. This Aishwarya creates a sort of, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada says, inferior complex. If you're feeling someone is so high, then naturally you are feeling so low, isn't it? If Krishna, God, is so high and exalted, then we are feeling so dwarfed and extremely insignificant. Yet if we're reciprocating without that Aishwarya at all, then our real nature and characters are able to flourish. And that's what Krishna wants to taste, that rasa. Some of those eternally perfect associates in the form of Sri Krishna's mother and father consider themselves to be superior to him, not just equal to him, but superior. They regard themselves as his maintainers. This is the mood of Braj. And they see him as the object of their mercy. They are providing Krishna with so many objects, roti, makan, etc., sweets. All of this is given in a mood of, we are maintaining Krishna. This Braj Prem is so unique, and this is the Prem. This is specifically the Prem that Sachinandan Gaurahari has come to gift us with. First of all, by describing it. Because this Prem was never described before in the way that Mahaprabhu is able to do. After Krishna left the planet 5,000 years ago, what was the current? Where was bhakti being held? It was in the 12 alvas, principally. In the beginning, 5,000, 4,000 years ago, 2,000 years. It was carried through by the Alvars. Then Lord Buddha appeared. And then later on, 800 before AD, then Sankaracharya, then Ramanuja, Madhvacharya, Nimbaditya, and then Vallabhacharya. The Sampradayas came. But there was no strong mention of Brajaprem because it wasn't understood. Who understood what Krishna and the Sakhas and the Gopis were actually doing, or Mother Yashoda was doing in Vrindavan prior to Mahaprabhu's advent? It was very, very confidential. Even Mahaprabhu, when he was establishing these truths, it was still confidential amongst his associates. It wasn't that all his associates understood immediately the nature of this Brajaprem, but through the mercy specifically of Rupa Goswami and all the Goswamis in our line, that these truths are just opening up, and they're opening up more and more and more. They're becoming more broadcast. They're becoming more understood by people. Because we have these tools today. We have this internet. And we can share so into far-reaching places. Mahaprabhu wanted every town and village to hear these truths. So we're able to actually broadcast these truths to the whole world. So it's growing, it's increasing at this point. Some of those eternally perfect associates in the form of Krishna's mother and father consider themselves to be superior to him. They regard themselves as his maintainers, and they see him as the object of their mercy. Their mood to maintain Krishna is called Vatsalya Prem, or parental love, which demonstrates even more mamata than Sakyaras. Sakyaras doesn't have the same mamata as Vatsalya Prem, or parental love, which demonstrates even more mamata than Sakyaras. Within Vatsalya, we find the firm faith and determination, nishta, of Shantaras, the service mood of Dasyaras, and especially the fraternal love devoid of shyness or reserve that is particular to Sakyaras. That means no Aishwarya. We gave that diagram the other day. Very beautiful graph that was conceived of actually by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and spoken clearly by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. Yeah, so all of that, these gradations of rasa, these considerations of rasa. I can't put my finger on it straight away. But we understand the gradation is exactly what is saying here. In Shantaras, there's only this nishta. In Dasyaras, there's a mood of seva, which is inhibitive. And then in Sakyaras, there's no Aishwarya. So this is increasing. And then in Vatsalya mood, that Krishna must be sustained. Such devotees are his complete protectors and will even punish, scold, and bind him. So understand what's unfolding here. An enormous, it's a prelude to the enormity of the conception of Goloka Vrindavan. This is where we're going. Real.
Vatsalye shante raguna dasyera sevan seshe sevanera iha nama palan sakyera guna ashankocha agauravasar mamatta dikke tadan baksana vyavahar apanare palaka jnan krishne palya jnan chari gune vatsalya ras amrita saman se amritanande bhakta sah dubena apane krishna bhakta vasha guna kahe aishwarya jnani gane.
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 19, verses 226 to 229. In parental love, all the qualities found in Shantaras, Dasyaras, and Sakyaras become transformed into a particular service called maintenance. The essence of Sakyaras is intimacy, devoid of the formality and reverence of Dasyaras. And it's because of this increased sense of intimacy that one chastises and admonishes Krishna. These are remarkable rasas. One with Vatsalya Prem considers oneself to be Krishna's nourisher and maintainer, and cares for him as one does a son. The four qualities found in the other four rasas are all within this Vatsalya ras, which is just like nectar. The reciprocation of nectarine bliss between Krishna and the devotee is such that Krishna is completely subjugated by the devotee. This happiness is compared with an ocean of nectar into which the devotee and Krishna plunge. This is the conclusion of the Aishwarya Gyanis, those with knowledge of Krishna's opulence.
Maharaj, one question. It says here the four qualities found in the other four rasas are all within Vatsalya ras. Does that include Madhurya ras?
No. Madhurya ras includes four. Madhurya ras is four qualities.
Yes.
So from Shantaras 1, Dasyaras 2, Sakyaras 3, Vatsalya ras 4. These four qualities.
Second paragraph you can read it.
The four qualities found in the other four rasas are all within this Vatsalya ras, which is just like nectar. What do you understand from that?
Shanta, Dasya, Sakya.
Within this Vatsalya. So Vatsalya has to be counted.
Okay.
Vatsalya is one ras. Do you understand what we were talking about? These four rasas are within Vatsalya ras. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, and Vatsalya makes 4. If it was Madhurya, it would be 5. So the next 877.
Nanda kim akarod brahman shreya evam mahodayam yashodava mahabhaga papau yasyastanam arihi.
Srimad Bhagavatam 10.8.46. Sri Parikshit Maharaj inquired from Shukadev Goswami, what auspicious pious activities did Sri Nanda Baba perform so that Sri Krishna agreed to become his son? And what did Sri Yashoda do that led to the absolute truth, Sri Krishna sucking that most fortunate woman's breast milk? Sri Ramananda Rai then presented one more verse from Srimad Bhagavatam.
Nemam virincho na bhavo na shrir apyanga samshraya prasadam lebire gopi yattat prapa vimuktidat.
Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.10. This is number 9th chapter, is the Dambanda Lila itself. Sri Shukadev Goswami said to Sri Parikshit Maharaj, O saintly king, the mercy that the Gopi Yashoda received from Sri Krishna, the giver of liberation, was not given to Brahma or Shiva, or even to Lakshmi, who always reside on the chest of Sri Vishnu. So we're appreciating the absolute speciality of this. It's beyond Lord Brahma, beyond Shiva, beyond Lakshmi, beyond Vishnu. Here we see Sri Krishna being controlled by Vatsalya Bhav, parental affection. Despite being the Supreme Lord himself and full of unlimited opulence, he was completely controlled by Mother Yashoda's prem, and thus he allowed her to bind him. Who can bind him, who is unlimited, having no inside, outside, top or bottom? Krishna contains the entire Brahmand within his abdomen. How is it possible to bind him? Only by his mercy was Mother Yashoda able to bind him. However, due to excessive feelings of possessiveness, she thinks Sri Krishna to be object of protection and maintenance, and herself to be his guardian and maintainer, and for his welfare she bound him. But no, this is not so. He was bound by Vatsalya Prem. This was his mercy upon Mother Yashoda. Such mercy was never achieved by anyone else. Even Brahma, who is the son of the Lord, or Sri Shiva, who has emanated from the Lord's own body, or even Lakshmi herself, who resides eternally on the Lord's chest, can obtain such mercy as Sri Yashoda received. So Lord Shiva is manifesting from the right-hand side of Krishna's body. Lord Srimati Radhika manifests from the left-hand side, and Shivji Gopeshwar manifests from the right side. Bhagavan has said that he is always subservient to the devotee. Aham Bhakta Paradina. Srimad Bhagavatam 4:9-4:63. This is what he's saying to Durvasa Rishi. Durvasa Rishi is being chased by the Sudarshan Chakra because he offended Ambarish Maharaj, Krishna's great devotee. And Krishna is, Lord Narayan in this case, is responding, Aham Bhakta Paradina. Even Lord Narayan is being controlled. In the pastime of his mother binding him to the grinding mortar, known as Dambandana Leela, his affection for his devotee is displayed to its highest degree. This is why we chant this, these prayers, this Damodarastakam every single day in the month of Kartik, glorifying this incredible pastime. With reference to the Sukriti devotional merits of Sri Nandarai and Yashoda, our acharyas, recognized preceptors, have said that both are eternally perfect associates. They are Nityasiddha Parikas. It was Sri Drona and Dara who are actually partial expansions, angsas. Drona and Dara, they merge into Yashoda and Nanda. Partial expansions, angsas of Sri Nanda and Yashoda respectively, who had performed austerities. Drona and Dara, they performed austerities. They had begged from Lord Brahma the benediction of receiving a relationship with Bhagavan in Vatsalya Prem. Lord Brahma knew them to be partial expansions of Sri Nanda and Yashoda. Thus Brahma, desiring to be the object of Sri Krishna's affection, said to both of them, Tatastu, so be it. If one does not have Braj Prem himself, how can he grant it to someone else? So my Gurudev is raising this question. How can Lord Brahma grant this benediction if he doesn't have that himself? He's going to answer this. The query may arise here that since Nanda Baba and Yashoda Mai are Sri Krishna's eternal parents, what is the need for them to perform austerities? All of this is arranged by Yogamaya to carry out the Lord's human-like pastimes. Lord Brahma knew that this incident marked the start of the manifestation of Bhagavan's human-like pastimes in the material world. It is also worth noting that when Drona and Dara requested this benediction, some great sages were assembled there who had faith in bhakti that is mixed with knowledge of the Lord's opulence. Therefore, Drona and Dara directly requested the benediction of Parabhakti, which automatically transformed into their innate Vatsalya Prem. Actually, no one can become the mother and father of Sri Krishna by the blessings of Lord Brahma. So already Lord Brahma understood that this is going to be the pastime of Krishna manifesting in this world. So he was hoping just to please Krishna, is saying to be the object of affection for Krishna by blessing them with this boon, because he already understood that Krishna is going to manifest in this world. They had come to the ocean of milk. They had requested Krishna to come and relieve Mother Earth of the burden of the warring armies on the planet. And Krishna had responded, yes, you all take birth in the family of the Yadu and Brishni Bauja dynasties, and I will descend at that time. And Lord Brahma understood he will descend as the son of Mother Yashoda. So he already knew that was going to take place. Therefore, he gave that blessing to Drona and Dara, that yes, they would be blessed with Krishna as his son. But Drona and Dara, they merge into the body of Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba. They are within the forms of Yashoda and Nanda. Yashoda and Nanda are the eternal parikars. The fact is that when the Ankshis, full original forms of Sri Nanda and Yashoda, appear in this world, their respective Ankshas, partial expansions, again enter into their bodies. So Drona and Dara were partial expansions of Nanda and Yashoda. This principle is indicated by Lord Brahma using the word tatastu. Lord Brahma is very far from the position of Sri Nanda Yashoda. So how can he give this type of benediction to another? He himself hankers to take birth in any lower species in Braj, a deer, animal, bird, tree, or creeper, and considers his life successful if he will be able to maintain the foot dust of any resident in Braj. Actually, Lord Brahma prayed to be a stone where the Brijbasis wiped their feet on. But to have the potency to grant Drona and Dara the benediction to be Nanda and Yashoda was out of his range. But he could say that because he knew that that Krishna was going to appear from their wombs, from Nanda and Yashoda's womb, who were indirectly Drona and Dara because they had merged into the body of Yashoda and Nanda Baba.
Tadburi bhagyamiha janma kimapatavyam yad gokulepi katamangri rajobhikshekam yad jivitam tu nikilam bhagavan mukundaha twadadyapi yat padaraja sruti mrigam yaiva.
Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-34. This is spoken by Lord Brahma. These are Lord Brahma's prayers in this 14th chapter, after he's stolen the cowherd boys. Just as Sri Nanda and Yashoda are eternally perfected personal associates of Sri Krishna, so too is their Vatsalya Prem eternally existent. Eternally. Thus the question may arise that if Vatsalya Prem cannot be achieved by the performance of austerities, then are the spiritual practices and the worship performed by those sadhaks who desire Vatsalya Bhav also worthless? If this is an eternal Bhav, an eternal rasa, if someone is aspiring for that, the rasa is already eternal. I'll read that again. Then are the spiritual practices and the worship performed by those sadhaks who desire Vatsalya Bhav also worthless? No, it is not like this. One will definitely achieve Vatsalya Bhav in service to Sri Krishna if one worships under the guidance of Sri Nanda and Yashoda. But no one can become either Nanda or Yashoda. So unless we beg for their mercy, desiring that Vatsalya Prem cannot be channeled down, cannot manifest in the heart of that sadhak who wants to have that same Vatsalya Prem. This chapter is about Vatsalya, it's about achieving Vatsalya Prem. The sadhak who wants to achieve, aspires for this Vatsalya Prem. While discussing this subject, it is also worth mentioning that Sri Nanda had 5 brothers. Actually, I think this is a mistake. He had 4 brothers, right?
Yes.
Yes, he had 4 brothers.
Together
they're 5. Upananda being the eldest. His father Parjanya wanted to make Upananda king, but Upananda told his father, I am neither qualified nor able to become king. You will only find such qualification in my younger brother Nanda. Hearing this, Parjanya became very happy and announced that Nanda would be the king of Braj. All the people welcomed Parjanya's declaration. So this actually is taken from the Gopal Champu. Jiva Goswami explains like this. It's just a window into the absolute non-enviousness of the Brijbasis, that the elder brother could say, no, I'm not as qualified as my younger brother. Could you imagine something like that happening in this world? No, never. Always we'd want to be the best one, right? Especially the elder. The elder would want to consider that he was, because he's elder, so he must be better. But actually here is Upananda saying, no, the middle son, Nanda Baba. There's Nanda, there's Upananda, Abhinanda, then there's Nanda, then there's Sunanda, then there's Nandanandan. These are the 5 brothers. Parjanya is the grandfather, is the father of these 5 sons, the grandfather of Krishna. Parjanya actually means cloud. He's like a cloud of mercy, Parjanya. On the other hand, Nanda was completely renounced, and furthermore, he had no son. But as soon as Sri Krishna took birth in his home, all of his detachment was transformed into attachment for Krishna. His house, kingdom, and every object contained in them were all for the enjoyment of Sri Krishna. Both husband and wife performed their endeavors so that there would be no shortcomings in the rearing of Sri Krishna. Both became absorbed in feeding their son fresh butter, placing him on their laps, and caressing him. They chastised him lovingly, and Yashoda bound him to a grinding mortar. So I was saying on Saturday how Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba, they make all arrangements so Krishna doesn't have to do any work, basically, that normally a son would do. He was completely free. Nanda Baba and Yashoda didn't burden him, but Krishna was insisting on going cow grazing. Mother Yashoda initially did not want that at all, but still they had a big meeting and it was decided that Krishna would get his own way and he could go cow grazing. Nanda and Yashoda learned that the daughter of Brishabhana Maharaj, Radha, had obtained from Durvasa Muni a benediction that whoever would eat the prasad cooked by her lotus hands would always enjoy good health and long life. Upon hearing this, with great respect, they invited Radha to their palace so that Krishna would eat the prasad prepared by her hand. Even when Radha was married, Mother Yashoda would patiently tolerate the curses and complaints of Sri Radha's mother-in-law Jatila, to whom she would continue to humbly send gifts and requests to send Radha to cook for Sri Krishna. Nanda and Yashoda loved Radha as much as they loved Krishna. Herein lies the greatest speciality of Nanda Baba and Mother Yashoda's parental affection. So, Durvasa Rishi, he's an anksha of Shivji, born from the womb or manifesting from the womb of Anasuya, the wife of, what's his name? The sage, he begins with a K. Can't think of him just now. Anyway, I'll think of him right. One of the sons born from Lord Brahma. And so Durvasa actually appears in all the different yugas. So in Dwapara Yuga, he gives this special benediction to Radha, who served him so nicely that anything she would cook would taste like nectar and increase the lifespan of that person taking it. So Mother Yashoda hears of this. So therefore it's arranged by Yogamaya, of course, that Radha can constantly cook for Krishna. We find testimony to this in Padyavali.
Shrutim apare smritim itare bharatam anye bhajantu bhavabhitaha aham iha nandam vande yasya linde param brahma.
If anyone remembers the husband of Anasuya. Atriya. Atriya Rishi, yes. Thank you. Atriya Rishi, yes. In a world frightened by birth and death, some people take shelter of the Shrutis, some of the Smritis, and some of the Mahabharata. But I pay my homage to Sri Nanda Rai, in whose courtyard Parabrahm is playing as a child. By this and other prayers, all rishis, munis, and Sri Narad himself have glorified Sri Nanda and Yashoda. Sri Krishna performed so many pastimes, but nowhere else was he ever bound. When he became an envoy of peace and went to Hastinapur, Duryodhana attempted to bind him with ropes, but Sri Krishna showed his universal form, and everyone in the whole assembly, including Duryodhana, became fearful. This wasn't the same universal form that he showed to Arjun. It was a reduced universal form, but it was enough to completely intimidate the Kauravas at that time. We cannot find it described anywhere that Bhagavan was bound by Mother Devaki or Kushalya. It's only in Braj. But he was bound by the hand of Mother Yashoda. Nanda Yashoda's human-like dealings, Lokik Sad Bandhuvat, with Sri Krishna are not found anywhere else. This is the excellence of this Vatsalya Prem that is manifesting in Braj. Of course, there's Vatsalya Prem to some degree in Ayodhya. There's in some degree in Mathura. Actually, Devaki, she did feed Krishna her breast milk just before Vasudeva took Krishna from the palace, from Kamsa's dungeon across the Jamuna, because she thought he needed something to sustain his life, his strength for his journey. So she fed him her breast milk at that time. But their mood of Aishwarya was fully fixed. And the same with Kushalya. She would see Lord Ram as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So nowhere else except in Braj. And how can we know these truths today? Except by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was not spoken of previously. It was not understood previously. The source of all expansions, the unlimitedly opulent Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, being controlled by the fully ripened Vatsalya Prem of Sri Yashoda, allowed himself to be bound, and by accepting this, he experienced supreme happiness. Indeed, he was extremely anxious to taste this Vatsalya Ras. In this way, Yashoda, who is so proud of feeling that she is Krishna's mother, became even more fortunate in this Leela, which combines both Aishwarya and Madhurya. It's Aishwarya because Krishna allowed himself to initially not be bound. This was Krishna's Aishwarya Shakti that was stopping from Mother Yashoda binding him. It was always 2 fingers too short. This was astonishing to Mother Yashoda and all the gopis present. They were astonished. This was a manifestation of his Aishwarya mood. They couldn't understand it. They were astonished. But they weren't overcome by that. And only when Krishna felt that Karuna Ras, that Karunamayi, that mood of compassion, seeing the exertion of Mother Yashoda, could his Aishwarya Shakti leave. And then, in that condition, Krishna allows himself to be bound. It is not possible to describe Nanda and Yashoda's pain of separation from Krishna when he was going to Mathura. My Gurudev speaks so often about this Vatsalya Prem. Actually, in one of Gurudev's first publications in the Western world, it was called Bhakti Rasayan. And in that Bhakti Rasayan, he describes beautifully the feelings of Mother Yashoda in separation and Nanda Baba, because this is prior to understanding the sentiments and feelings of the gopis. This is the rasa before this. The next chapter will be coming into this madhurya, this kanta prem, it's described as. So this is a prelude. This is showing the extremity of Vatsalya Bhav. At that time, I'll just read this in. It was not possible to describe Nanda and Yashoda's pain of separation from Krishna, when he was going to Mathura. At that time, Yashoda became like a piece of dry wood. Sri Nanda Baba quit speaking with others and stopped coming outside of the palace. Remembering his son, he simply would continuously call for him and weep. Immersed in the bottomless ocean of Vatsalya Prem, he remained searching for his son. Every second, he would turn his face towards Mathura, waiting expectantly. Now he will come. Now he will come. Krishna has promised he will return. That's the only reason why Nanda Baba is keeping the life air within his body. And Mother Yashoda, when Nanda Baba returned with some gifts from Krishna, Mother Yashoda just became struck. Actually, the gopis knew prior to Krishna leaving for Mathura that he would not return. Why is that beautiful Viraha Geet, as is described by Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur? That lamentation of the gopis when Akrura was taking the chariot to Mathura. The gopis were throwing themselves in front of the horses, trying to stop. It's described Akrura had to very expertly weave his way between the gopis who were trying to... They had given up all shame. Previous to Krishna leaving, they had kept their love for Krishna completely confidential. They were married, they were wives. How could they exhibit such affection for Brajendra Nandan, Shyam Sundar, Krishna? They would blow their cover, so to speak, of having him as their lover. But they threw that to the wind, callously, in their attempt to stop Krishna from going to Mathura, because they knew once he reaches Mathura, he's not going to return. Nanda Baba was not in the same consciousness. He went happily with the cowherd boys, thinking, yes, we'll just go with Akrura, go to the festival in Kamsa's arena, and then we'll just come back. So it's a long, beautiful, beautiful, intricate pastime. And my Gurudev goes into it extensively. Very beautiful. How Nanda Baba, he's sitting outside the city of Mathura, waiting for Krishna and Balaram to come back after Krishna has killed Kamsa. But Nanda Baba hasn't been invited into the Mathura city because actually the residents, they don't want Krishna to leave. They don't want Krishna to even go back and see Nanda Baba because they know his feelings of affection are so strong. So Nanda Baba's bewildered now because he understands that Krishna actually is the son, in one sense, of Vasudeva. So, and Krishna is hearing that from the Mathuravasis. So it's a very heart-wrenching pastime when finally Balaram and Krishna managed to sneak into the camp of Nanda Baba outside the city of Mathura, where all the cowboys are camped, and encourage Nanda to actually return without them. And Nanda Baba, he's like shocked initially. He can't even comprehend this idea. But then Krishna assures him, I will come back soon, just like he assured the gopis. And then Nanda Baba says, what will I say to your mother? And then Krishna gives so many gifts and Nanda Baba becomes disturbed. Will I give these gifts instead of you? And Nanda Baba becomes completely disheartened. But Krishna assures him and gives him some strength to return empty-handed to Mother Yashoda, who's waiting for Halala to return. And when she sees Nanda Baba without Krishna, her heart practically stops and she becomes dry like wood, like a piece of dry wood. So this lamentation, this separation, is all manifesting around the mood of Vatsalya Prem. This is the sweetness and speciality of this Vatsalya. And we even see in the Dambanda Lila, when the twin Arjun trees have fallen down, Nanda Baba says, I won't speak to Mother Yashoda for the rest of the day. So we see this mood also manifesting then. So there are so many occasions when this Vatsalya Prem really comes to the surface in Braj, but particularly when Nanda Baba takes Krishna to Mathura. Then it becomes just heartbreaking. So Nanda Baba is not even coming outside the palace. Remembering his son, he simply would continuously call for him and weep. Immersed in the bottomless ocean of Vatsalya Prem, he remained searching for his son. Every second he would turn his face toward Mathura, waiting expectantly. Now he will come, now he will come. When Uddhav came and tried to pacify Nanda Baba, it only increased his feelings of separation 100 times over. Uddhav said, "O Nanda Maharaj, come and wander outside for a bit. Your mind may find some distraction." Nanda Baba replied, "Please tell me, Uddhav, where should I go? Wherever I go, I remember Kanaya and become even more distressed. Every object I see reminds me of Krishna and pierces me like a spike. My misery and suffering simply increase, but my life does not leave me." This is Vatsalya Prem in separation. Uddhav said, "O Nanda, your son is directly Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord." Hearing this, Nanda Baba exclaimed, "Uddhav, I was thinking that you were extremely intelligent, but this is not so. Uddhav, you do not know the symptoms of Bhagavan. Does Bhagavan become hungry? Come on, if Krishna's mother is just a little bit late bringing a ball of butter, he breaks all the pots in the house. Does Bhagavan ever go house to house stealing? Our boy wanders everywhere in Braj stealing." They have remembrances of Lord Ram. Lord Ram was this Maryad Purushottam. He was demonstrating the potency of Maryad and Dharma. He wouldn't steal, he wouldn't do anything like this. So their idea of God is like Ram. That is their remembrance. So Nanda Baba, he's saying this to Uddhav. How can you think that this is... He's saying the same thing that he said to the Gopas after Krishna put Govardhan Hill down. And Krishna came out. The Gopas said to Nanda Baba, they approached him after. He said, "We think your son is God." Nanda Baba, he laughed so much. And he said the same thing to the Gopas. God doesn't steal, God doesn't get hungry, God doesn't get angry. My son gets angry, he's just my lala. So this Vatsalya, this is the potency of Vatsalya Prem, has to cover any smell, any touch of Aishwarya that may arise in the hearts of the Brijbasis. It's immediately covered by this ocean of Prem, and in this case, Vatsalya Prem. "O my son, Uddhav, if ever there were a real father, then that was Maharaj Dasarath." You see, they remember Ram Leela at this time. "After Sri Ram went to the forest, he could not wait even 1 second. Immediately his life left him. But see, Uddhav, I do not wish to die like Dasarath Maharaj. Before leaving, Kanaya said, 'I will definitely return. So surely he will come back to Braj.' This is the same reason why the gopis kept the life air in their bodies, because Krishna said, 'I will return to you.' If I were to die before his return, then not seeing me, he will ask his mother after me. And when his mother answers, 'My son, your father has died,' he will be so unhappy. Every atom of their bodies is just to please Krishna. He will be so unhappy. Wherever I may go, if he is unhappy,
my unhappiness will only increase. Every atom of their being is for Krishna's happiness. I will tolerate my own unhappiness, but Uddhav, I never want to see any unhappiness in my son. This is Vatsalya Prem. Never wants to see any unhappiness. When the twin Arjun trees down, Nanda Baba put Krishna and Balaram on his two hips and he walked to the Goshala to pacify them. Krishna was unhappy. The greatly learned sage Uddhav became dumbstruck. The parental affection of Sri Nanda and Yashoda was beyond his understanding. From the day that Krishna went to Mathura, food had not been prepared, even once. For whom would they cook? All the pots were kept upside down, and the stove was covered with cobwebs. Who would they cook if they weren't cooking for their Lala? Uddhav, he can't understand this. Uddhav is actually in Shantaras. He's a Jnani Bhakta. Jnani in the sense that he understands the Aishwarya aspect of Krishna. Uddhav is Krishna's cousin. His grandfather, Devabhag, is the same grandfather as Krishna. It's coming in this dynasty. Vasudeva, he had 17 wives. And Uddhav is born from another of those wives, as Krishna is born from Devaki. So they're cousin brothers. Uddhav is younger than Krishna. But Uddhav grew up imitating Krishna in a sense of dressing the same way as him, worshipping deities of Krishna and Balaram. He would worship them because his whole bhav and mood is, this is the Supreme Lord, so I must worship him and honor him. This Aishwarya, which puts such a distance away from the heart of this Vatsalya Prem that we're talking about. Therefore, Uddhav couldn't even begin to comprehend Nanda Baba's Prem. The greatly learned sage Uddhav became dumbstruck. The parental affection of Sri Nanda and Yashoda was beyond his understanding. From the day that Krishna went to Mathura, food had not been prepared even once. For whom would they cook? All the pots were kept upside down, and the stove was covered with cobwebs. What sweet and charming pastimes are found in Vatsalya Ras. Just seeing Yashoda's upraised stick, Sri Krishna's opulence and position as Bhagavan ran away. When Mother Yashoda looked into Krishna's mouth after he ate dirt, she saw all the moving and non-moving entities in the universe. Thinking this to be the work of some witch, she continued to caress her son, as her affection for him simply swelled higher. I must protect my son from this witch that seems to have come within him. Even today, the personified Vedas are searching for the foot dust of these Brijavasis. So, this commentary, my Gurudev is taking us to the highest limit of appreciating this Vatsalya Prem. So sweet, so particular, so special, so heart-melting. But we're going to come even higher to Kanta Prem tomorrow. So I didn't want to go further than this Vatsalya Prem today because I found this chapter was so beautiful and moving and sweet. I just wanted to stay in that place. I didn't want to go on and open a new chapter straight away. So I think we can all sit in the appreciation of this Vatsalya Bhav today, and tomorrow we'll enter into Kanta or Madhurya Prem. Shri Raya Ramananda Samvada ki jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubevacha, Patitanam Pavnebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Gold Premanandi.